Asheville. Wow. Hi, everybody. It's great to be back. Let's get into it. What a week. According to a profile in the New York Times, RFK Jr. has 2 wild ravens that he claims to keep as pets, summoning them and feeding them scraps of meat. Isn't Kennedy worried about parasites? I'd hate to see those ravens get sick. Kennedy has apparently long been fascinated by birds, and at one point had an emu named Toby that would attack his wife, Cheryl Hines. Cheryl, just say the word. I have a comfortable guest room, 0 birds or anti-vaxxers in there. You can stay for as long as you want. Head writer Hallie stayed for a few days after she ended her engagement and became a lesbian at the same time. We watched that Jonah Hill doc together before he was canceled. Cheryl, that could be you. That could be you. Hines told a reporter about one day when she stepped outside to take a call from a producer. She said, I started telling him about the script, and the emu starts chasing me as fast as he could. That's Hollywood for you. Tough town. Toby was eventually killed by a mountain lion. But that's Hollywood for you. It's a tough town. Also, I've made this point before, but I know we've sorted RFK Jr. into evil maniac category, but I do think it's worth remembering that most of his stories are rich dilettante flavored. He had an emu? That's Richie Rich stuff. An emu named Toby? Gotta put a stop to that whole family. It's enough. It's enough. One guy runs liquor during Prohibition, and we're still dealing with the repercussions. President Biden won the CNN coin toss ahead of the first presidential debate on June 27th. He chose to receive, and then someone explained the rules again. As the winner, Biden was allowed to pick either the order of opening and closing statements in the debate or where he will stand on stage. Biden picked the right side of the stage. Joe Biden contains multitudes. Did you know that Joe Biden has a good side? And he cares about it more than whether he or Donald Trump gets the last word in the most consequential presidential debate of our fucking lives? Fascinating. As a result, Donald Trump got to pick the debate order, choosing to go second, meaning his closing statement will be the last thing viewers hear at the end of the broadcast. Well, almost. The very last thing viewers hear will be Jake Tapper crunching through that false tooth containing a cyanide pill. I'm out. Tapper out. In advance of the debate, the Biden campaign is going on the Grandpa Goofed offensive, posting a montage of Trump getting confused, lost, wandering off, and waving to nobody. You know, they say people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, but you don't need to see someone throw a stone from a glass house to know that throwing a stone at a glass house will break the house. What if you lived in a glass house, and your neighbor lived in a glass house, and he's already throwing rocks at your house over and over and over again? Of course you'd pick up a rock. The rocks are coming no matter what. Did you think you'd make it to November with a standing glass house? Of course not. We'll all be standing in ruins on Election Day. So let's throw some goddamn stones. Throw those stones, Joe. Throw them like your childhood idol, Honus Wagner. You're the Flying Dutchman now, Joe Biden. That's what they called Honus Wagner. And if you haven't been to Cooperstown, I recommend it. You'll learn a lot about baseball. Like how they called Honus Wagner the Flying Dutchman. We have a clip of the new Joe Biden video. Here we see Donald Trump not realizing he's supposed to walk away. Mike Pence is like trying to urge him along. And then watch out, Trump doesn't. It's really strange. It's really strange. Mike Pence approaches Trump in that moment, like when you're in line behind someone at Chipotle and they're on their phone. But also you're sick of how rude the world has become, and so you're trying to model good behavior, but it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, go. Oh, here's another clip from that montage.
Justice Department to grant immunity to Michael Flynn.
Thank you,
So, what happens in this clip is Trump is supposed to go to sit at the Resolute desk and sign something, some, I'm sure, monstrous piece of paper, and instead he just leaves. And then Mike Pence is, like, Trump just goes to leave through the side door of the Oval to kind of his private study. And Mike Pence goes, oh, Mr. President, you're supposed to sign it. And you can see Trump say, I'll sign it back here. Trump walks out of the Oval Office in that moment like his Uber is here. Sorry, I gotta get out of here. He has nowhere to go. The schedule is built around him. And famously, he's at both his house and office. Over in Congress, Senate Democrats have added language requiring women to sign up for the draft in a new defense spending bill, causing an uproar from Republicans. We're not going to force 18-year-old girls to commit their lives and bodies to something they don't want to do, Republicans said. Senator Josh Hawley railed against the language, telling Fox News there shouldn't be women in the draft, they shouldn't be forced to serve if they don't want to, as if we don't already force women to serve. They call lady celebrities brave if they leave the house without concealer. Added Hawley, normal people are like, leave our daughters alone. What? Said Matt Gaetz. What? What? Said Josh Hawley. Oh, I don't know. You looked at me, said Matt Gaetz. I literally didn't. Okay. Never mind. Thought I heard something. Also, I just do want to pause on this language that Republicans have been using. He says, normal people are like, leave our daughters alone. The daughters aren't the people. The people have daughters. They're not addressing the women, they're addressing the parents. It's just interesting. But maybe that's just because their daughters have been saying, that's that me espresso over and over again, and nobody can understand them. Obviously, millions of women have served in the military. Women today make up about 20% of the military. It's like none of these Republicans internalized the message of 1997's G.I. Jane. And the message is, I am gay, except for Demi Moore in 1997's G.I. Jane. Some people are 90-10. I'm 90 G.I. Jane. The Supreme Court on Thursday upheld a Trump-era tax on foreign corporate investments in a 7-2 vote, and I bet you can guess one of the two dissenters, and you could picture him in a captain's hat, sitting on the lap of a billionaire, turning to his nut job of a wife and saying, look, I'm driving the boat. I'm driving the boat. The Supreme Court also upheld a federal ban that prevents alleged domestic abusers who have a restraining order against them from buying guns. Here we are in 2024, and men still can't have it all. The ruling was 8-1 with, yep, you guessed it, Justice Clarence Thomas dissenting, arguing that historical tradition runs counter to this kind of law. After all, back in the time of the founders, there was no domestic abuse, just happy wives and liars who were also witches. The court didn't rule on the 2 impending January 6 cases this week, including the immunity case, kicking the can to next week. I hate when the Supreme Court does a season finale. It's not necessary. Your show can't be canceled. Try as we might. Experts suspect the court will wait until after Thursday's presidential debate to drop the January 6 rulings, which means they'll have to crack open Biden and Trump's post-debate cryogenic tubes to tell them the news, which is so annoying. Once you get in that tube groove, you want to stay there. You know, that tube groove. Leave them be. They're tubing. They're both old. On Wednesday, Louisiana became the first state to require that the 10 Commandments be displayed on a poster in every public classroom. Sort of obviously not familiar with 1 through 4. Don't like that. You gotta get that thing up in here. This is terrible news for Louisiana's first graders who had been planning to covet their neighbors' wives. Also, isn't it it's a little surprising that Louisiana is first here? You know, it seems like it should be at least fourth. What is Idaho? What does Idaho have? I can't do this. I'll do it. It's fine. What does Idaho have up there? Screen grabs at Yellowstone? Groups like the ACLU and Freedom from Religion Foundation have vowed to challenge the law, a fight that Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry welcomes. Landry said at a GOP fundraiser on Saturday, "I can't wait to be sued." And you won't. As he signed the bill into law, he said, if you want to respect the rule of law, you've got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses. Man, this guy really does want to be sued. Now he's going to have Hammurabi up his ass. Mr. Governor, Hammurabi's lawyers are on the phone. And you're not going to like what they want. Speaking of troubling collabs, okay, McDonald's has wrapped up its global partnership with IBM, which had been testing AI-powered drive-thrus at some locations since 2021. We don't need artificial intelligence at the drive-thru. The last thing I need is me ordering at McDonald's and a voice coming out to say, "I see you're back for the 3rd time this week, John." I'd recognize those retinas anywhere. McDonald's says it isn't ruling out incorporating AI in the future, saying our work with IBM has given us the confidence that a voice ordering solution for drive-thru will be part of our restaurant's future. How futuristic. Just picture it, a drive-thru where you can order food using only your voice. I do not want some fucking machine learning large language model AI to know how disgusting I'm going to be before I do. Sometimes I go through the drive-thru and I'll make it to the other side with just a Diet Coke. Now imagine your smart fridge and your phone and your car are all conspiring against you. And they know that your breakfast was loose cold cuts you ate out of the fridge and that your lunch was crying in the car. And even though you know you should have a salad, you're being driven to Taco Bell automatically. I'm kind of talking myself into it. Speaking of imagined dystopias, Donald Sutherland, star of movies like Clute, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the Hunger Games trilogy, died at the age of 88. In honor of Donald Sutherland, here's a clip of me pretending to know what movies Donald Sutherland was in, and everyone knowing I'm lying. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is awesome. That movie's great. If you've never seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I feel like it's very surprising when you find out that it's plant-based. You know? a team of scientists have discovered the world's oldest wine at a Roman burial site in Carmona, Spain. But after seeing the price, the team of scientists opted instead for the world's second oldest wine. Margot Friedlander, a 102-year-old Holocaust survivor, will appear on the cover of the July-August issue of Vogue Germany. I hate these manufactured publicity campaigns trying to shove some new it girl down our throats. A New York City man was bitten by a corn snake that he found in his bathtub while in the process of trying to flush it down the toilet. Said the snake, "Someone's in here." "Weird," said the man. "I don't remember eating corn snake." The man said he initially thought the snake was a worm of some sort. A common mistake. Gotta do a better job of teaching science in the schools. A pair of beluga whales were successfully evacuated from an aquarium in Ukraine, which is under intensifying Russian bombardment, and I believe we have the footage. For those at home, it's footage of Free Willy, and it worked in the room. A boater in the Florida Keys found $1 million worth of cocaine in packages emblazoned with a bald eagle that were floating in the water, or as it's more commonly known, a Florida 401k. And finally, it's time for a segment we're calling America's Least Wanted. Since we're here in beautiful North Carolina, we thought we'd spotlight one of your hometown GOP circus boofs, Republican Attorney General nominee Congressman Dan Bishop. Dan Bishop is your standard bearer for all things MAGA. He votes lockstep with the other right-wing extremists in the House and is a big proponent of 2020 election conspiracy theories, MAGA classic, if you will. During his short time in Congress, Bishop voted against even the most no-brainer guaranteed to be popular legislation. He was one of only 26 to vote against the Stronger Workforce for America Act that invests in job training, and he voted against it even though one of the bill's co-sponsors was another North Carolina Republican. Honestly, I kind of get this one. I also oppose other people developing skills because then I might look bad by comparison. That's why everyone on the Love It or Leave It team is strictly forbidden from any personal or professional growth. Bishop was also one of the only House members to vote against the Sea Turtle Rescue Act. A grant program for rescuing marine turtles stranded on beaches. My guy, you're voting against rescuing beach sea turtles? What kind of absolute maniac watches Finding Nemo and goes, "I would let Crush die screaming on a beach"? You'd let Crush die. Bishop voted against certifying the 2020 election and has spread the big lie. He's now running for Attorney General, a job which will give him enormous power over elections in this state. He was also a chief architect of the infamous trans bathroom bill, HB 2, as a state senator, and co-sponsored a national abortion ban as a member of Congress. Usually a bishop can move diagonally. This bishop only goes backwards. You guys heard that air horn? All right, good. So if you want to prevent this goon from determining voting rights and reproductive rights in North Carolina, go to votesaveamerica.com/2024 to learn more, and let's do everything we can between now and November to turn out the vote. And that was America's Least Wanted.